thank you for all that you're doing in our lives. We ask that you keep us safe, keep us healthy, keep an open mind and open heart, and let us all get something from this class. We thank you in advance as you continue to guide and direct us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So let's, guys, I'm going to do a real quick review on what we've done the last couple weeks. So obviously the big book, who remembers the main purpose of the big book?
Change.
Change, yeah, but it gives us... There we go. Who said that?
I did.
I wish I had some candy, bro. I'd hook you up right now. So it gives us precise, and I still can't spell, right? Specific, clear. That's not an R, that is though. Clear, cut. Well, there's a dash in between clear and cut, right?
Yeah.
Directions.
Direction.
On what? How to recover, right? Okay. What else is the big book? Textbook, right? Okay. So we also get 3 pieces of information to recover. And I don't know why I wrote all that up, but we're going to do the first one was what? Identify the problem, right? If we have a problem, what does every problem have? All right, let's go to page XXVIII. One more I. Doctor's opinion. Yeah, some of you might be able to find that real easy. Everybody there? I'm so glad you're here tonight. Would you do the honors, please? Down at the bottom, men and women drink.
Okay. Men and women drink essentially because they like the effect of alcohol. The sensation is so loose that while they admit it is dangerous, they cannot, after a time, differentiate the truth from the false. To them, their alcoholic life seems the only normal one. They are restless, irritable, and disconnected, unless they can again experience a sense of ease and comfort, which comes at once by taking a few drinks. Drinks which they see others taking with impunity. After they have succumbed to the desire again, as so many do, and the phenomenon develops, they pass to the well-known stages of a spree, emerging remorseful with a firm resolution not to drink again. This is repeated over and over, and unless this person can experience an entire psychic change, there is very little hope of his recovery.
All right, thank you. So, just so everybody knows, that's where the cycle comes from, was that paragraph right there. Okay? So, it starts off telling me, in a paragraph above that I've got analogy of the body that sets off this phenomenon of craving, which we classified as a physical craving now, saying, look, if I drink, I always used tequila because that was my shit, man, you know what I mean? And I drink 1 shot of tequila, boy, I feel that. Or moonshine, y'all remember the moonshine days? Yeah, you guys feel that? That's all. Anytime I got high or drunk, that's what I liked. I like that body high that I get. You know what I mean? So I get that, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to chase that a little bit longer, so I'm going to do more. And my body just metabolizes more. And the more I put in, the more I want. And just I can relate that to I can relate that to sugar nowadays, guys. Like for real. It's a real deal. It tells me in the big book, it says I must believe that my body is as sickened or is more sickened as my mind is, right? Must believe that, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
And why is that? Someone tell me. What happens? What doesn't happen if I don't drink?
You don't get crazy.
Pretty much the rest of the damn spree, or the rest of the damn cycle, right?
Right.
So once I get going on one of them sprees after drinking or drugging, I mean, my story literally is this. Handcuffs stop me. That's the only thing it ever does. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that, right?
Yep.
Okay, and you know, like I said the last couple weeks, every time I got arrested, I didn't feel remorse. I was happy I was in there because I didn't have to deal with anybody. I could rest, get some freaking some legs back on that dog, You know, I mean, that was a real deal. But then the couple times I did feel that remorse and that guilt and that shame, I come up with firm resolutions, and then all of a sudden I get out and I start running with the old homies, or I see something and I start desiring. I start feeling these feelings of like the old days where I want to just party with my buddies. I still get them to this day. And I really believe, honestly, for me, it starts with that feeling or that desire of wanting what? Ease and comfort. Because if I'm really living the good old days, I'm probably not living in great days right then, am I? You know what I'm saying? So, and then after all that comes in, here comes the evil obsession. And it gaslights the desire, right? It says, it'll be different. It'll be different. That's right. You can go hang out with the homies now. You're 6 months sober, bro. You can go save them. Right? Or I'm going to go save her. Or I'm going to go save him. I mean, this is all observations that we can literally contest to, all of us have done, right? Right? I'm going to do better this time. So anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, so I'm restless irritable discontent, and it goes over and over and over and over and over, right?
Yep.
So, that brings us back to identifying the problem, and that is that I am what? Powerless and unmanageable, right? Okay. One more thing I want to point out with the cycle is if I'm in that, that's insanity. Right? That's craziness, insanity, right? Okay. Let's go to page 30. All right, so most of us have been unwilling to admit that we are real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily or mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. Countless vain attempts, meaning every time I attempt it, I failed at it. Because why? Because my life is insane, and I have an allergy to the body and obsession to the mind, right? Okay. That the idea, somehow, someday he will control and enjoy his drink is a great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. Anybody remember the definition of concede?
Give into.
Finally admitting something is true that I ran away for so long. I can't remember exactly what I thought. Well, I might have it right here. Let me just say it real quick. Yeah. Concede, admit that something is true or valid after first denying or resisting it. So if I'm countless vain attempts, like, man, no, I'll show you, I can do this. I can do that. I can just hang out and smoke dope while y'all shoot it. Right? No, that ain't ever going to happen, right?
Say that again real quick. Concede.
Concede.
No, I mean the definition.
Oh, the definition? Well, yeah, I mean, I literally answered that. Admit that something is true or valid after first denying or resisting it. So, where we at? Okay, so we learned to fully concede the innermost selves that we are alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently maybe, has to be smashed. There are people in this room right now that don't think that they fit here. Thank God I know I do, because I must believe this is what's going on. I don't stand a chance. Okay? So that brings us to step one. It says we admitted we are powerless over alcohol and our lives become unmanageable, right? Again, like I said, if there is a, where did I put that at? So now we're going to run off the two. What is the solution?
Power.
Okay, power. Let's go to page 44. We'll run through this review real quick, guys. I'm already 10 minutes in. I should be already done. Why you let me talk so much?
I mean, it's because you like to talk.
Now, you're right. I do that. All right. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism. We hope that we have made clear the distinction between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic, right? It said, if, when you honestly want to find that you cannot quit entirely, so why can't I stop Once I start, right? And the next one's going to be, someone else read that next line. I think I might have these backwards, but why can't I stop starting? So this is the deal, man. I've asked myself this many times when I was out there in my addiction, okay? Maybe not exactly like that, but there's many times I could think back when I was like, I didn't understand, I didn't get why I just couldn't just freaking stop, right? So that's all you got. You ask yourself these two questions. Be honest with yourself when you ask them, hey, can I control the amount I take? And can I stop whenever I want? If you honestly answer no to both them questions, you're probably an alcoholic, right? That's what it's saying. Okay. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a what?
Spiritual experience.
Will conquer. Dr. Silkworth called it a complete psychic change. Go down the page just a little ways. It says, if a mere code, right to the bottom, if a mere code of morals and philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism, many of us would have recovered long ago. But we found that such codes and philosophies did not save us, no matter how much we tried. We could wish to be moral. We could wish to be philosophically comforted. In fact, we could will these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They failed us utterly. So when we talked about the different types of drinkers, which drinker, sufficient reasons would make them stop and moderate? The hard drinker, right? So this, not only does this go to the real ones, because if we could stop with our thinking, we would have done it a long time ago, right? Well, then he's talking about that right now, the hard drinker that has crossed that imaginary line of being, I have sufficient reason keeping me from doing this, to now I still have the same sufficient reason to make me stop doing this, but I can't. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Lack of power was our dilemma. We find that we had to find a power which we could live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? Page 47. I think it's at the top of it. When therefore we speak of God, we mean our own conception of God. So it means I don't have to believe the God that Trey has. I don't have to believe Joe or Marty. God, how do I forget people's names, man? All right. We have our own conception. We have our own thinking of what God is. Marty, it'll be all right, bro. It'll be all right. I had a lot of caffeine earlier, okay? I'm sorry. Okay. So, we get to choose our own conception. This applies to other spiritual expressions you find in this book. Do not let prejudice. So, if I see that word prejudice, what am I doing? I'm keeping a open mind. That's right. You may have to, again, spiritual terms, deter from honestly asking yourself what they mean to you. At this start, this is needed to commence spiritual growth, to effect our first conscious relationship with God as we understood. And afterward, we found ourselves accepting many things which didn't seem entirely out of reach. That was growth. But if we wished to grow, we had to begin somewhere. So we used our own conception, however limited it was. We needed to go down just a little further. We need to ask ourselves but one short question. Do I now believe, or am I willing to believe, that there's a power greater than myself? As soon as a man can say that he does believe or he's willing to believe, we empathetically assure him that he is on his way. It has been repeatedly proven among us that upon a simple cornerstone, a wonderfully effective spiritual structure can be built. And that's step 2, guys. Came to believe that power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. And I brought up this insanity right here because we have to stop this, right? And if I could stop it myself, I would, right? If I could stop that cycle, I would. But God, my higher power, has to stop and to pull me out of that insanity to restore the sanity in my life, right? Okay. Page 60. Right down there at the middle of the page, our description of the alcoholic in the chapter of the agnostic and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. And that's A, that we are alcoholic. and could not manage their own lives. What step is that? Scream it.
One.
That's what I'm talking about. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism.
2.
And what that God could and would if he were sought.
3.
2.
2.
Who said 3?
I said 3.
Before and after,
Black mark. Huh?
before and after what?
What do you mean before and after what?
Our personal adventures before and after what?
Our personal adventures before and then after we had our spiritual awakening. Come on, Brandon.
I was just wondering.
Being convinced. Brandon, what am I being convinced of?
We were being convinced of A, B, and C.
Being convinced of A, B, and C. Like that I have an allergy of the body, obsession of the mind, that I am powerless and nothing human in this world has the power to keep me sober. I'm not going to say get me sober because, man, there's times we've used this firm resolution, human resources to get sober for, right? But did it keep us sober?
No.
That's the whole thing. What was that? My drink? Well, you're doing this. I mean, okay. All right, where are we at? Being convinced. We're at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God and as we understood Him. Just what do you mean by that? And what do we have to do? Then here's the actual step. It said, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Let's go back to where it says, we decided to turn our will and life and over to the care of God and understood. So I tried to explain this a little bit last week about step 3. Man, step 3 was a hard one for me because for real, I didn't really have too much will left in me when I got to the will to want to do anything. I was pretty broken. I was done. But then I made a decision to take some action. That's what we're going to talk about today in the 4th step. So I made a decision to seek that solution and how to live in the solution, okay? So, the first requirement is that we have to be convinced that any life for own self-will can hardly be a success. We decide that's everybody in the world, right? Okay? Our base is almost in collision with something and somebody. Even though our motives are good, most people try to live in self-propulsion. Page 63. Selfishness and self-centeredness, we think, is the root to all of our trouble, driven by 100 forms of... Go ahead. Read it.
Fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity. We step on the toes of our fellows and their shall
You ever do any of that, guys? Go down a little further. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though usually doesn't think so. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of selfishness. We must, or it kills us. God makes that possible, and there often seems no way entirely getting rid of self without His aid. Many of us had moral and take convictions galore, but we cannot live up to them even though we would have liked to. So that's just repeating what it said on page 45, right?
Yeah, where were you at? You're on 63 right there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Am I on 62? Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
You said
All right, at the bottom of that page, this is the how and the why. But first of all, this is the most important thing you can get. We had to quit playing God. It didn't work. Next, we decided here after drama that God is going to be our director. He is our principal. We are His agents. He is the Father. We are His children. Most good ideas are simple. And this concept is the keystone of the triumphant arch through which we will pass to what? You guys remember what the arch was? What's the?
willingness.
Foundation, that's right. Willingness, right? We just read about the cornerstone. What did it say about it? Believe. Hope. I mean, I'm just hoping it. Listen, here's the deal. I got up there that other program, and I was like, I hoped it would work for me like it worked for them. But then when I seen them living, it gave me hope that there might be something out there that could help me, right? So a lot of hope there. And then it talks about the arch, right? And then keystone. Decision. I can't spell that word either. I noticed that today. Maybe I did this then. Maybe. I don't know. So am I willing to change? Do I believe I can change? Am I going to make that decision to change? That's all it is. And what is this? What?
You got the finish point. There you go.
Freedom. Right?
Yeah, that's what
And what sets us free?
the truth.
The truth. Truth will set us free, man. That's what we're going to learn about today. We're going to find out the truth about ourselves. Okay? So we go to the step 3 prayer says, we are now at step 3. Many of us said to our Maker, as we understood him, God, offer myself to thee, build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me from the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, and the victories over them may bear witness, and to those I can help. Thy power, thy love, and thy way of life, may I do thy will always. So you just pretty much saying, look, God, by saying that, I mean, it's not really a prayer to me. Some people like to get down on their hands and knees, pray with that with somebody. Me, it was like, look, I'm making this proclamation to you, God, that look, I'm going to do this. Just help me do it. Making a decision to seek that solution that everybody else did, right? I mean, that's just what it was like for me, dude. Tom's a whole different person. Steve's a whole different person. It's just, I'm up here sharing my experience, saying help with this working the steps. I don't know what it looked like for all y'all, but that's what it is for me. I have to do that on a daily basis. I got to wake up and be like, yeah, I'm still an alcoholic and an addict. Still powerless, right? Life's a little bit more manageable, but did I have anything to do with that? Absolutely not. Do I still need God to help me? Do I still got to ask him to do it? Boom, 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 right? Step 1, mental conclusion. Step 2, mental conclusion. Step 3 is, we pretty much just went over that. Y'all remember my waking up, have to take a piss in the morning story? Yeah? Was that a good one or what? I mean, that makes it, you know. You want to hear it again? All right, so I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is like, man, I got to take a piss. There's the problem, right? So I'm like, well, what do I got to do to fix this problem? I got to find a solution. What is the solution?
Go pee.
Get up and go pee. Once I decide that's the only solution I have other than peeing in the bed, what am I doing in my bed if I make that decision to do that? Still laying in the bed about to pee myself, right? Same thing, man. It's kind of funny and stuff, but it's literally the same. What are you guys laughing about, man? You guys are idiots.
I was actually just laughing at Brandon, but Brandon didn't do anything. I was like, Brandon's probably heard this 8 times.
Yeah. Well, I got it from Steve, so yeah. Anyway, so no permanent recovery in the first 3 steps, right? So now we're going to learn how to eat, how to seek and live. Oh, wait, hold on. Power, right? How to seek and live in solution, okay? So this week and the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's how we do the seeking. And then after that, we do 10, 11, and 12. And that's how we live in it, okay? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to page 64, bottom of it. Pretty sure. Nope, 63, I'm sorry. Got my numbers off. Look at me. Fire me. Okay?
Get it together.
All right, what does it say? Next, after we made our decision, what do we do?
Launch.
Launched out into a course of vigorous action, right? Vigorous means strong energy. The first step, which is personal house cleaning, which many of us had never attempted. Though our decision was a vital and crucial step. And what decision was that? What decision was that?
Turn a reel over to God.
Give it to me, Hoddle. Tell me. What's the decision?
Go to the annual lake.
What's the decision? What's the vital decision?
Turn it over.
Made this. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's on the Wallow River.
Y'all don't make fun of Hoddle, okay? She just woke up. I shouldn't have picked on you. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to, I think, what was the question?
I said, though, and listen, I'll repeat it. Though our decision was a vital and crucial step, what crucial, vital step was that? What decision is it?
Oh, to turn.
Right.
I thought you were asking me what step it was, and I was like, oh, it said it wrong.
Right, so I mean, still, if we're getting hung up on turning our will and our lives over, we can just go, what? I'm just going to make the decision to take the action it's going to take so I can learn what turning my will and my life over looks like, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot easier for me to, that was a lot easier for me to take instead of like, well, I don't even know what my will looks like. Again, I didn't have a lot left once I got there, right? Anybody have a lot of will when they got here, coming in, detoxing? I know you did, Brian. I seen you on the couch at Sunshine. It was a bad deal. I was like, dude, are you even supposed to be here right now, bro? And then he was like, I'm like, yeah, he's supposed to be here. All right. It could have little permanent effect unless followed by strenuous effort to face and be rid of the things in ourselves that are blocking us. Our liquor was but a symptom, so we had to get down to the causes and the conditions, right? Yeah. All right, so physical, I don't want to spell stuff. Conditions, all right. Mental, I know how to spell causes, so we're good there. All right. I know some of y'all been here before. Y'all know what we're about to do, but don't scream them all at me at once, okay? What are some physical conditions that you had when you got here, Brian?
Physically dependent.
Detox, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just detox, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Snake.
Huh?
Moving your head.
I don't even know what to, I don't even know what to put. You trying to make me spell.
Yeah, you don't have to
Snake, all right.
Snake like.
Robbie, where you at? Give me one, bro. Huh?
I was irritable.
Irritable? That's more of a mental cause. What's something physically was going on with you, bro?
I was cold. I was shaking.
Shaking? Okay, so shakes. How about the good old-fashioned pick and pox?
Yeah.
Yeah? Don't act like you never had them.
Dehydrated.
Vomiting?
Super dehydrated.
Restless legs.
There you go. Dude, I swear, dude, sometimes my wife, she got restless legs so bad, I swear she's riding a bicycle in the bed. Still to this day, she'd be 3.5 years sober, and she still be kicking me out of bed with them legs. It's like weird. It's like they go into this thing, and I know the trimmer's coming, and she's, yeah, and then her legs kick. I'm like, oh, I got to get ready. You know what I mean? Restless leg syndrome, right? What else?
Jaw jacking.
Jaw jacking? I'll just put John. Right? How about sleep?
Yeah, I said that.
Weight loss or weight gain? For me, it was definitely the weight gain. Huh?
Starvation.
Starvation?
How about no?
Listen, if you got here and you were starving, you got a messed up house, bro. All right. What else?
Can't sleep.
Huh?
I'm a movie addict. Can't sleep.
Cottonmouth?
Yuck mouth.
Yuck mouth?
Yeah, you don't know having teeth having bad breath.
Oh, so teeth. Can we just put teeth? Okay. Gotta remember, we're recording this and people might not understand what yuck mouth is. So we're gonna do teeth,
Lost your choppers.
right? What else, man? Mariah, you got anything? No? Nothing? That's all of it?
There's more.
There's more. What's up?
You don't want to know.
Diarrhea? I'm actually going to put diarrhea this time instead of the, yeah. Diarrhea. Hot, cold? Cold, hot?
Falling out.
What?
Hair falling out.
Hair?
I mean, but not mine, but other people's hairs.
Okay.
Cramps.
Cramps?
I know you can't cramps, bro.
All right, we'll stop there for the sake of time. All right, so what about some mental stuff that's going on? Huh? Is that right?
1, 2.
Paranoia.
That's a good one, man. How do you spell that? Paranoia. Yeah. Marty, what do you got? What's some mental things you got going on, bro? Huh? Depression. I got you, dude. I heard you. ADHD. What's that one thing you got, Cody? PTSD. Is that how you say it? Yeah? Yeah, PT. Nope. I put an I in there. PT. What is it? SD? Okay. All right. PTSD, paranoia. How about this? Anger?
Suicidal.
Suicidal?
Homicidal.
I'm sure, but you guys got baby mamas, huh? Homicidal. Remorse. Right? Guilt. What else we got going here? Psychosis is good. Well, how do you spell that? PH.
He has 5. He has 5.
Psychosis? What else? Yeah. I got guilt up there. How about just mood swings in general? I got anxiety. I know you can't see it because it's not spelled like it's crazy, but that's it. What else, girls?
Insecurity.
Insecurity. Okay. That's probably enough. All right, so listen, when we're here, this whole deal is about the physical conditions right here, guys. You know, we get off the streets, we get out of the hospital, we get on our feet a little bit in these programs, and some of this, the detox goes away, right? At some point in time, your body's going to heal, and why is that? God dang it, that marker. Took some boxing. I mean, for real though, why?
It's usually time for your body to heal back up.
What are we not doing? Right? We're not putting drugs, we're not putting poison in our body. Our bodies are starting to heal up a little bit, right? All right, so the detox goes away. Did the snake go away? No. Okay. Well, some things ain't gonna go away. I mean, you're still stuck with them. What?
I never seen fear of change up there anywhere.
Fear of change?
Yeah, when you showed up, you wasn't scared to change. I mean, you're used to doing this thing over and over and over.
I mean, we can put fear.
I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, that was one of my biggest deals is getting out of that.
I mean, I'm sure some people have been in these programs multiple times, probably like, man, I gotta walk back up in there.
Okay, so I'm an oddball.
No, fear of change is a big one. But that's something we will go over in fears here in a little bit. All right, so anyways, the shakes cut away?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. I got scars from the pick and pox. I'm tweaking, bro. I got down, you know. There's something in there. I swear to God, there's something in there. Vomiting. Other than brandy and, did you say you still got them? Restless legs. What is that one? I don't remember. John, that's right. John.
That don't always go away.
Huh? Everybody get some sleep?
Yeah.
Who got sober, got some sleep, now can't sleep? Right? No, I can't sleep all day early either. Weight gain, weight loss?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I mean, my teeth ain't as bad as they were because I got some of them pulled, but anybody else have some teeth problems when they got here that are better now?
Come back.
I mean, but they will get better because we ain't doing meth no more. We ain't drinking no more, right? Okay. Diarrhea, I mean, it still happens when I eat at Taco Bell. Right? Cold, hot. Listen, that cold, hot stuff in today's weather is a real deal. I think Jen calls it's psychopath. The weather's a psychopath. Can't make up his mind. Hair falling out? I mean, it's a thing. Cramps? All right, so we don't do drugs. We're not putting that stuff in us. Some point in time, our physical condition is going to get better, right? Okay? So, us human beings, I know it's going to look like a titty. I don't want to hear anything about it, okay? We're three-dimensional people, right? Hold on, you guys are laughing, but I'm being serious here. Physical, right? Mental, and self. Okay? I know that you can't really, probably can't see it on the camera well, but we're always going to be in the middle of it. Okay? If our physical starts getting better, then we got to get through this mental. All right? And then we got to change, because obviously Skip is not good at running Skip's life, right? Yeah. So the whole point of doing this 4-step and seeking this solution is to change that into the higher power, God. And once that happens, then my mental gets better, and my physical, you see how I'm living, right? So that's the goal here. Now, we'll get into that in a second. All right, let's go back to the book. Oh, wait. So we're going to figure out how to get rid of all these mental stuff that's going on, because, I mean, we can't just I'm sure most of them, a lot of them, us stopping drinking, us stop doing drugs, some of this is going to go away, but like this anger and guilt and remorse and shame and all that stuff is still going to stick around, but we got to figure out what we're going to do to get rid of that, right?
Your anxiety.
Yeah.
So the physical conditions are going to go away, the medical conditions are going to remain, you're saying?
Unless we do what? Take the action to get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what? Therefore, we started upon a personal inventory. So we're going to make a list. That's all inventory means. This was step 4. A business which takes no regular inventory usually goes broke. Taking commercial inventory is a fact-finding and a fact-facing process. It is an effort to discover the truth about the stock in trade. One object is to disclose the damage and unsaleable goods, to get rid of them promptly and without regret. If the owner of the business is to be successful, he cannot fool himself about values. So that values to us, making this list, would be our principles and standards, right? Do we have any principles and standards when we got here?
No, not really.
I mean, if they were, they weren't the right ones to have, right? We did exactly the same thing with our lives. We took stock, say it, honestly. First, we searched out the flaws in our own makeup, which caused our failure. Being convinced that self, manifested in various ways, was what had defeated us, we considered its common manifestations. So, what were some other words that we used for manifestations, guys? You guys remember? Huh? What are some other words we use for manifestations? We talked about it. John, you remember? How about symptoms, side effects, right?
Okay, sure.
Manifestations. Myself is manifested. My symptom of being Skip is 3 major ones, and that's what? Resentment, fear, conduct, right? Okay. Where'd that cap go, man? I cannot keep these things in my hand. Resentment is the number 1 offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. From it stems all forms of spiritual disease. For we had been not only mentally and physically ill, we had been spiritually sick. When the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. So, when we get this malady that we got going on, which is our addiction, our illness, we're going to straighten out mentally. We're probably going to straighten out a little bit more physically, a little bit more, but we got to keep the drugs out of us. And so we get our mental state better, then we're going to keep the drugs out, which means our physical state stays better as well, right? Okay. Here comes the fun. I know, right? It's pretty cool, huh?
That's why I got trust issues, Skip.
Do we not have that AC on? Is it?
Got that hot cold, eh?
Hot cold. Psychopath. All right, so how are we going to start? In dealing with resentments, we set them on paper. We made a list, right? So here's column 1. All right. We asked ourselves, list the people, institution, or principle with whom we were angry. Okay? So, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm glad Sam ain't here because he knows one of these people. It'd be funny. All right, so I'm going to put my ex up here because she pissed me off quite a bit, right?
They messed me up too.
Nope. All right, then I'm going to put this one up here. This is going to be an interesting one for you. Preacher. Okay? Then I got a co-defendant.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Right? I'm going to put core up here, but the reason why is because of COVID. You'll see what I'm going to do with it here in a minute. What's the other one I wanted to do? Co-worker. This one I need to do. I probably need to process with y'all right now, but we're going to do it here in a minute, right? Y'all got that one co-worker that just, right? Just want to headbutt them. I beat them up all the time, and then child support. There's my principle. Taxes, but that one didn't bug me. I don't have too much problem with my taxes. So, what's the next thing it says? Somebody read it for me.
So we asked ourselves why we were angry.
Why are we angry? So the X, obviously, we'll just do it like this. Cheating on me, right? Preacher got me arrested.
Wait, what?
Damn.
Yeah. Co-defendant told on me.
Arrested?
Yeah.
In my discovery.
Look, here's the deal. I really should probably not include core in this, but that's just where I was at when COVID happened, and they like locked me up.
Was your preacher your co-defendant?
It could have been. Could have been, yeah. Co-worker
That's it.
pissed me off.
Break it down.
We'll get into it here in a minute. Child support made me pay. Made me pay money, right? All right. So, then we go on a little further. We're going to read a little bit more, then I'll get into the stories on this, okay? All right, so we asked ourselves why we were angry. In most cases, we found that our self-esteem, our pocketbooks, our ambitions, our personal relationships, including sex, were hurt or threatened. So we were sore, we were burned up. On our grudge list, we said opposite each same our injuries, okay? Was our self-esteem. I'm going to run out of room. I didn't do this one very good at all, right? Self-esteem. Security, right? Ambitions, A-M-B. Ambitions are what?
Goals.
Hopes, dreams, goals, right? Personal relationships. And then here's sex relationships, right? Okay. I picked the wrong side of the board to do all this on, didn't I?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to my deal here. All right, so next, cheated on me, man. We're in the, obviously living in full-blown addiction. Just kind of what happens, right? Did it hurt my feelings? Yeah, it hurt my feelings for a long time. But then I got through this fifth step, man. I realized, because I believed in the allergy and the obsession of the mind, I was able to you know what? It's whatever, man. She did what she had to do because she was wanting to get high. And that's some freedom that I had from that resentment. Might not be that easy for y'all right now, but there's some things on here that, I looked at now and it's it's whatever. Does it really matter she cheated on me? I'm married now. You know what I mean? Who's that?
Jennifer.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
So, did her cheating on me affect my self-esteem? Of course it did, right?
Yep.
Financial security?
Yeah.
How about my emotional security as well?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? I mean, that time she was my best friend. I mean, she hang tight with me through a lot of bullshit for like the first year. The second year was hell. You know what I mean? Then I don't even know why she stuck around me. Look at it back now. I mean, I had dope, but when I ran out of dope, that's when the cheating happened. You know what I'm saying? All right. So ambitions to be with want to be with anybody?
Yeah.
How am I ever going to trust anybody again? Right? Personal relationships, yeah, dude, all my friends and all my plugs for sure. 'Cause that's who she was going to. Right? They were affected. And then obviously our sex life was definitely affected, right? Preacher man got me arrested. Okay? This man was an old, he used to be a preacher. We actually hung out in his church in Holiday Island for a while and got high and did the thing and all this. And it was really, bro, in the church. Lived at the church. Okay? Sold dope out the church. Right? I'm probably incriminating myself right now. Anyways, all right, really. So, we're out on the road, 3 o'clock in the morning. Had no business being out there doing things we were doing. He blows through a stop sign, and guess what happens? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Man, I blame that dude for a long time. If he went and ran that stop sign, I wouldn't have went to jail, right? Who else would have had that first thought when I said that? Right? But what was the truth in it?
Truth is, you had warrants.
If Skip would have been out running around 3 o'clock in the morning doing what I was doing, I wouldn't have been in that truck to begin with, right? But, hold on, here we go. Me and Preacher Man were pretty good friends at the time, right? Did that affect my self-esteem that we ran that stop sign and I got arrested? Yeah, I was in fucking jail. Right? I probably shouldn't have said effing, I just did. Self-esteem was definitely affected. You know, maybe with this mic they can do a little editing on that a little bit better, you know?
Hey, what kind of preacher doesn't stop at a stop sign is what I want to know.
A high preacher. Yeah. I mean, let's not get hung up on the preacher man, okay? All right, so obviously my financial security was affected because I was in jail, right? Okay? Ambitions, hopes, dreams, goals.
Your preacher relationships.
Yeah, that hurt me on some higher power stuff for a little bit, man. You know, I'm like, dude, because look, here's the deal. I was in that church doing the things we were doing, and I was like, dude, there's no way I'm getting a pass for not going to hell for this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm screwed. But you know what? That didn't stop me either.
You're doing that blast, looking up at that stained glass, going, man, it's all bad.
So never mind, I ain't gonna go there. I'll tell you a story after I'm not on video camera, okay? All right, so was my personal relationship with Preacher Man and everybody around me affected by that? Okay, well, let me tell you, guess who didn't go to jail with me?
Preacher. Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
I locked up for 30 days on that one.
Now you're stuck in the church.
She wasn't
nothing to do.
She wasn't my girlfriend no more when I got out.
Right.
So my sexual relationships were affected, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Now the preacher's wife.
So this is why I hate doing my 4-step, bro. I can't. All right, next one, co-defendant. So here's the deal, man. Dude was come to find out, it was right off the rip, man. Dude was working with no, he was actually working with an actual snitch at the time. Brought him to me, met, took the money. I'm at the gas station. They got pictures of me, everything, taking the money. And we ended up getting pulled over. And they took us both to jail. So they slid in there and got him and told him that they would, if he tell on me, which, I mean, they had me dead to rights anyways, come to find out at the end of all this, you know. And so as far as I knew, he was still in jail. And so they come out, I got a conflict lawyer come in, said, hey, you know, prosecutor wants to know what's your thoughts on all this. I'm like, well, I felt bad because dude knew that the dope was in the car, but I felt bad and I was like, look, the dope was mine, man. You should let that dude go. 6 months later. So I'm like in jail 6 months on this charge and a failure to appear in freaking Carroll County. All right, so it's a whole big old deal. I'm in that 6 months. Finally, I get to court. They release me. I make it to court somehow after getting bonded out. Somehow I get to court, and they're like, well, here's the deal. They dropped the dude's charges because they didn't want to release their snitch's name. And I was like, awesome, right? Awesome, right? If they did that for him, they got to do it for me, right? Let me tell you what Skip did. Not only did I say the dope was mine, I signed a piece of paper saying it was. Okay, so I got, yeah. So that was a bad deal, man, for me. Dude, I had a lot of resentment against that dude for a long time, dude. And you know what? This whole thing getting set up, that whole deal was the snowball at the top of the hill. You know, so now I can go and be like, hey, bro, I really want to. I want to go up to this dude and say, I really appreciate you doing that to me.
What?
I wouldn't have the life I have now if I didn't.
Yeah.
That was what started the whole deal, man. So yeah, dude, I was trying to keep him out, Joe, and he buried me, right? Straight buried me. Is my self-esteem affected by that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, who the hell am I? Was a white boy about it and everything and still got screwed over, you know what I'm saying? Security, emotional, financial, definitely, right? My ambitions. Personal relationships with anybody, right? I had a lot of trust issues after that. You know, at the time I didn't have an old lady, but I guarantee you if I did, she would have heard every bit about it. So yeah, she would have been affected about it. That's the one thing about these sex relationships. Man, there for a long time, people were telling me that this is intimate relationships. Like my personal relationships is everybody in here. I have a personal relationship with Ellie. Maybe not like personal, but we're in the same room together. We're looking at each other, right? Same thing goes with people at Walmart. Okay? Personal relationships. My personal relationship with my brother, my personal relationship with Brandy will be in my sex relationship because we have an intimate relationship together. So, anytime that something happens and you guys start checking over to here, if you had a sexual partner at the time or somebody, a wife or significant other, who's going to get all the bullshit when you get home? So don't it be fair to say that probably everything that happens, if you don't get rid of this, you're going to build up, you're going to take it out on somebody. It's going to be that one person you love the most, right? I know for me it is. I'm taking it home with me every day. Kick the freaking dog. Core COVID. Okay, man. COVID happened. I don't know if I was more mad at Core, if I was more mad at the United States of America. I don't know. But all I know is I got locked up for like 5 months in a house. And it sucked. It sucked really bad. Who else was over there at the time? Yeah. You guys know what I'm saying? Literally just locked up in the house.
2 people in my house.
Yeah. That was a bad deal for you. Real bad.
Imagine how those AA meetings went.
Right. I mean, it was tough, man, because, literally it wasn't just only Core saying I couldn't go anywhere, but the president of the United States was giving like, look, you guys can't go, only essential people. So I'm a felon, so I'm definitely not essential. You know what I mean? I'm in a sober living program. You know, it was just tough. I don't know anybody else have some resentments because of COVID? Come on now.
I was like myself, bro.
I bet you everybody had some resentments about COVID until they started handing out that money. Right?
We didn't have no resentments. We got unemployment on this.
Right. So it says on here, people, institutions, or principles. We don't really talk about the principles a lot. Well, everybody knows the institutions people are, right? So, how am I supposed to, and we'll get into this when we get over the rest of the sections, but how am I supposed to be, how am I going to be COVID, how my resentment gets COVID going to affect all this stuff, right? So, I don't know. They locked me up. Self-esteem, man, I'm locked up with the same people all the time. People are literally telling me what I can and cannot do.
Ooh. Yeah, self-esteem.
Right?
Yeah.
My self-esteem affected?
Yeah.
You mean I can't make my own decisions? And you tell me when I do, you tell me I still can't go nowhere, or you're going to kick me out on the street? But that was the whole, that wasn't just core, that was the whole, for like the first 90 days of COVID was insane, folks. Y'all remember it? Couldn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? All right. Financial and emotional security. You get locked up.
See, I didn't experience that with COVID because I was homeless living in a tent. I went anywhere to fuck.
It was perfect for you guys. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So my financial, emotional security was affected, right? Couldn't go to work, right? Yeah. And you know, there's about 3 or 4 people in the house that was super annoying. So that whole like suicidal, homicidal thing that we were talking about earlier come into play a little bit. Ambitions to stay. You're going to tell me. So my whole outlook is like, if I leave here, I can't come back. This is before shots. I mean, they said, look, if you leave, you can't come back because they're afraid you're going to bring it back with you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go out there, have nowhere to go. It's going to be home. Maybe I should have came and got hung out with you. I probably would have had a better time through COVID. But anyways, that was just my thing. It's like, I've made it this long, dude, and I don't want to give up. You know what I mean? I don't want to give up. So my ambitions are definitely affected. Personal relationships with everybody in the house.
Yeah.
Big time.
If I had an intimate relationship, she'd definitely be hearing about it, right? Okay. Coworker pissed me off. Listen, I'm not going to say her name. She's mad. I got a promotion at work. She didn't get it. I don't know if she's necessarily mad at me or she's just mad at them, but either way, she was being really mean to me. Okay? She was being really mean to me. And this somebody's supposed to be a friend, you know, and so was my self-esteem affected by that? She's being mean to me. I didn't ask for the promotion. When they came to me and asked me, hey, look, would you be interested in doing this? I went, you talking to me? You know what I mean? Like, I was blown away that they asked me. I was back at the restaurant for 2 weeks. Like, I really still kind of blown away I got the promotion. To be honest with you. Kind of. Yeah. People actually have to listen to me now. Yeah. I quit the Simmering Center so I didn't have to tell people what to do anymore. And then I get to McFarland's and start working. In 2 weeks, they're like, hey, look, we want you to tell people what to do. God, you got jokes, bro. Anyways, so yeah, man, for real. I mean, it wasn't just her. It was a bunch of them. You know, so my self-esteem's definitely affected because all these people are saying, well, we're going to quit because you did this. And I have to work with these people. And knowing that they said that, I'm just like, damn, man, you guys are some catty ass. You know what I mean? Like, just, it was tough for a minute, man. It was. I'm not going to lie. Why can't they just be happy for me? Did you hear what I just said? Why can't they be happy for me? Right? Security, well, my security financially is definitely affected. I went up in some money, so there you go. The whole thing with the emotional, man, it's like, yeah, man, I can't make everybody happy, right? Ambitions. I mean, you can look at negative way or positive. I mean, either I'm going to do it or I'm not, right? Do I want to do it and continue to be telling these people what to do, or am I going to just, you know what, I don't think so because I'm worried what everybody thinks. Which way you think I'm going to do? That's right. Personal relationships with them are definitely affected. Not only that, but all the clients and customers we had that day, I probably could have been a little nicer to them. I mean, I literally go back into our little freaking area that's away from everybody, and they're all standing there, and they'd be talking. As soon as I walk around the corner, I'd be like, anyways, and Brandy heard all about it. I swear to you, she did. Yeah, we have this thing. We talk. She tells me about heroes, and I tell her about McFarland's, and then we pray, and we go to bed. So child support pissed me off, and really, I use this one to show that, you know what, I'm not really mad at child support. Child support is just doing their job. Who am I really mad at? Yourself. Not at the time. That baby mama. You know why? Because, man, here's Skip, doing really good, got 10 months for everybody, got a car, got some COVID money, and then all of a sudden I get a child support mail. in the mail saying, your case has been reopened. Did you reopen the case? Yeah, I did. I'm like, well, you just gonna wait till I'm doing good and do that? Like, why wouldn't I? I mean, she's got a point. I mean, listen, I mean, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit of the things that I found out in my fifth step about this deal, but I'm going to share this and we'll go smoke. But here's the thing. Think about how many arrests she probably saved me keeping that thing closed while I was out there in active addiction. Am I any good to anybody locked up? No. Skip's doing good. He's sober. He's got some money. Dude, if I want to be a father to my son, I've got to make the amends that I'm supposed to make. And that was the start of it. Now, dude, I'm like, we got the best co-parenting person I could ever have. You know, my ex-wife, I'm super fortunate that I have her as a baby mama because she takes care of them kids. Guys, I don't know the first thing about raising kids. Because the whole time both of my kids were young, I was on the road working. My youngest, I didn't change one diaper. I came home long enough to hear him say, Dad, Dad, and do his first steps, and that was it. So she's done a great job. So yeah, maybe she deserves a little bit of money, right? All right, so self-esteem affected? How dare you go behind my back and do this? Right? Okay. Is that without saying, right? Yep. My ambitions, dreams, and goals. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know really what was going on then, but I know that my ambition, dreams of having more money each week were gone. Okay. Personal relationship with her. Guys in the house at the time. Boy, I was lit about it. Straight lit. And they're like, you need to call your sponsor. I'm like, I ain't got one. And you know what? Here's a good one right here. Brandy is affected by this. Our money, her money's my money. If I don't pay it, guess who goes to jail? Guess who gets come bail skip out of jail? So yeah, definitely, right? Let's go smoke. We went back through our lives, nothing counted but thoroughness and honesty. When we were finished, we considered it carefully. The first thing apparent was that this world and its people were often wrong. To conclude that others were wrong was as far as most of us ever got. The usual outcome was that the people continued to wrong us and we stayed sore. Stop. Sometimes it was remorse and then we were sore at ourselves. But the more we fought and tried to have our own way, the worse matters got. Anybody feel that? Yeah. The more I fought, the more I tried to make things right, the worse things got, right? Yeah. As in war, the victor only seemed to win. Our moments of triumph were short-lived. It is plain that a life which includes deep resentment leads to only uselessness and unhappiness. To the precise extent that we permit these, do we squander the hours that might have been worthwhile. How many of you have sat around and just, I'm going to get that MF'er, right? I was like, you're sitting at the house, you have no idea where your old lady's at. You know what I mean? I was sitting at the, that freaking house through COVID, just mad as, because I could not leave. You know what I mean? Just all those things. Think about all that time, man. Just pure resentment, angry, hatred, right? But with alcoholic, whose hope is the maintenance and growth of a spiritual experience, which is change for us, right? This business of resentment and resentment is infinitely grave, which means hopeless. We found that is fatal, for when harboring such feelings, we shut ourselves off from the sunlight of the Spirit. The insanity of alcohol returns, and we drink again. And with us to drink is to? Die. So, the insanity, we're happened to it. There it is. The insanity. I'm not going to lie, that's actually one of the best freaking cycles I think I've ever put on the board. Usually they look a lot worse than that. Wow. It's not bad. Anyways, the insanity, folks. If we were to live, we had to be free from anger, right? The grouch and the brainstorm were not for us. They may be the dubious luxury of normal men, but for alcoholics, these things are poison. We turn back to the list, for it held the key to the future. We were prepared to look at from a entirely different angle. Now, what angle is that?
Honest day.
Ourselves?
Looking at ourselves where we were wrong.
Not outward, look inward.
Right. I'm going to look at a different angle. Not going to look at it from the same angle that gets skipped drunk and high every time, right? Right. We were prepared to look, we already read that. We began to see that the world and its people dominated us. Y'all feel that?
Yeah.
They just dominate, man. They get so mad. Like the whole deal at work with all them people, like, man, do you know how much thought that I put into being mad at them for being mad at me when none of us should have been mad at each other to begin with? You know? You guys get mad about these house fines?
Yeah.
Dude, how many of you at least spent an hour pissed about a house fine? I'm just saying, man. Or you know who did it? You know who left that spoon in the sink.
Yeah.
And they will not claim it. And they won't claim it, and you're trying to not catch a charge.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Right? Well, now, you have a process instead of doing that, right? Don't everybody get so excited.
Yes.
In the state of wrongdoing of others, fancied or real, had the power to actually kill. Let's talk about this fancy thing real quick. Man, the one that comes to my head all the time is every time I went somewhere with that ex, okay? Any dude that walks in the room, oh, I bet so. You know what I'm saying? You guys laugh, but you guys, I mean, I don't know if all of you had them relationships like that, but a lot of us have.
Yeah.
Okay? Or she said, I'm going to go to Walmart. I'll be right back.
Who you meeting?
Hey, Winky Face, Winky.
Yeah, coming back.
8 hours later.
Yeah, dude. I had someone say this to in a class not too long ago, and this one really probably hit at home with you guys. I bet you they be working for the police.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Just know it. I can't prove it, but I know he's doing it. I know he's doing it. Right?
We talked about fancied resentment sort of this morning in spirituality. The video was about getting mad at God.
Yeah.
And, instead of, because God didn't deliver what I want right now, doesn't mean it's not coming. It's just, we can get mad at God, for insert whatever reason. But the reality, the way this explained it, and it's obviously, when you accept this as truth, God doesn't make mistakes. So, you really technically have nothing to be mad at him about. So it's almost similar to having a fancy resentment where you can't prove it's wrong.
Right.
Just because he didn't fix things in time and do something what I wanted. Right now, I'm getting mad at him.
Right, absolutely. God can be on your list. I'm about to get, hold on just a second. We'll keep reading, I'll get to another one. How could we escape? We saw that these resentments must be mastered, but how? We could wish them away more than alcohol. This was our course. We realized that the people who wronged us were perhaps, that's a big word in AA, okay? Perhaps. So how am I going to pray for a resentment against COVID? Right? Because it says perhaps it's spiritually sick. It's not saying that the resentment or the person or whatever it is spiritually sick. It's just saying perhaps. Now we're real good at being like, look, you're spiritually sick, bro. Right? Are we supposed to do that? No. Well, whose inventory are we really taking? That's right. All right. So, though we did not like their symptoms, which is their character defects, right? And the way they disturbed us, they, like ourselves, were sick too. And here's the prayer for column 4. We ask God, of our own conception, whatever that looks like, to help us show them tolerance, pity, and patience, that we would cheerfully grant a sick friend. Why are we cheerfully granting a sick? Because he's sick, perhaps. Right? Who here just wanted some tolerance and some pity, some patience before? You know what I mean? I want it every day. That's right. Brandy, please have some patience, pity, tolerance with me. She's really good at it. I don't know how she does it. God, that's how she does it. When a person offended us, we say to ourselves, this is sick man. How can I be helpful to him? God save me from being angry. Thy will be done. So, what am I missing up here, guys? That's right. So let's look at column 2 real quick. Okay, here we go. Cheated on me. Got me. Told on me. Locked me up. Pissed me off. Made me pay money. Me, my, and I. Right? So myself. I started with myself. It was a lot easier for me to get through, however you want to do it. But the main thing that I like to do this at the end is like, you know, the main thing that I freaking hated myself for was becoming a junkie, because that was like the real, hold on one second, when sports got taken away from me, that was my first love. Playing football, playing baseball, playing basketball, that was my first love. And they got taken from me because I went and got high. And then as soon as I left school, I became a junkie. Dude, that ate at me for a long, long time. Still to this day, it creeps up on me a little bit. What's up, Robbie? So, but when I seen this right here, and I seen this allergy, and I actually started buying into this thing, and I seen my life after I did this, and then this happened, I couldn't but help but give myself the patience and pity and tolerance I would a sick friend, because I'm a sick person when this happens. Because the only thing on my mind is not anything that matters but what? Getting high. I'm going to get my next high. No matter who I have to screw over. No matter what I got to do. Right? So I have to be patient with myself, especially during this 4-step, man. But obviously, we look back on what I put up here, and we can see who the real problem is there, huh? Who do you think is the real problem in Skip's life? Skip. Right? So, I have to ask God to give myself the same pity, patience, and tolerance. If I can't give myself the same, or give myself pity, patience, and tolerance without getting into a real like self-pity kind of a deal, but if I can't do it for myself, I can't trust myself, I can't believe myself can change, how am I going to do that for anybody else? Right? But God does that for me. So, let's get back over here to the column 5. So, here's the main thing that we got to learn about resentments is when people make us angry, we avoid what? Retaliation and argument. That's a hard one, ain't it? Yeah. Because listen, I want to win.
All the time.
I want to win. That's how I was. I want to win the fight.
I'll win.
No matter what I got to say. I hate to keep picking on my ex, but that was our thing. Who can say the meanest shit to each other? I know you and Shani had that same battle. I mean, like, for real. But the one thing I learned from doing this 4-step is that I have learned to lose and to be okay with it.
That's right.
For real. Doesn't happen overnight. Some days are better than the others. Just depending on who it is or what it is. You know what I mean? You know, I'd be lying to you if I sat here and told you that, dude, it's always happy, joyous, and free in Skip's world. It's not. But the days that are great because of the bad days. But I got through the bad days without getting drunk or getting high. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Joe?
I don't want to jump off topic here, but
What you going to?
I think what you're talking about there causes a lot of us problems because, particularly for men and for addicts, first of all, we're good at bullshit and we're manipulative as an addict, even when we know we're wrong. But for men, we have a natural level of competition. Like I said, I miss sports.
Mm-hmm.
We've been taught since we're little we want to compete.
Right.
So you want to win the conversation even when you're wrong.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when you're having, it shouldn't be about trying to win when you're, like, let's say your wife, because that's probably the most important person in your life. It should be about coming to an agreement.
Right.
Trying to work things out instead of trying to win.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because we've all seen this where one of our buddies marries an attractive woman, and then 5 years later you haven't seen him, and he shows up and she's put on 75 pounds, He spent 5 years winning arguments, he shouldn't. First time he did it, she got mad.
Right.
The second time she did it, she got mad. The third time, the 10th time he did it, he slept on the couch.
Right.
The other time he did it, they either got divorced or
Right.
she quit trying.
Right.
And he destroyed her.
Well,
He created her own problem.
he's right though.
He created his own problem.
Right.
So, because subconsciously, just like, it's not a secret, I'm overweight, you know, don't tell anyone, but it's not a secret, like, she's a loser to you now, because she can't fucking win. And she knows she's a loser. So I've destroyed her, and I've ruined her confidence. Now I don't even love the woman that I'm with anymore, because she looks nothing like
Right.
the woman I'm
No,
with.
he's right. No, he's absolutely right, man. For real. I mean, that's just. Listen, I mean, he's right about the whole thing. Where do you think I learned to win was? All that, the only was playing sports. What? On the couch?
DJ Cal.
Yeah. And they stay there. Anyways, but like for real, I'm getting a little, let's get back serious a little bit. Like for real, there's just something that I learned one day, man. Like I just, especially with Brandon, because dude, we spent a lot of time together. Obviously, we're married, and there's points where I'm just like, I really just want to go, and I'm just like, what will that do? I will feel better for 0.2 of a second just because I got it out, and here comes the bullshit. You know what I mean? Here comes the remorse, the guilt, the shame. I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever really had somebody you loved and you said something and all of a sudden they just get destroyed by it. I ain't down to do that no more, man. I don't want to do that, you know? We're kind of getting off a little bit. So we're going to pray and ask God to remove, or we're going to ask God to show us how we can be useful to this person. I mean, it could literally just be, hey, look, man, what's going on with you today? Can I do something to help you? Are you raising your hand or are you just doing this?
Yeah, I'm raising.
Okay.
All right, so I remember my question from earlier. What are you supposed to do when all your resentments start to fall together, like with people, places?
I mean, really, the only difference in the resentments usually are the people and places. It's usually the same resentment, different
All
person.
right, so like I catch myself listing people, but then like I'm going down my resentment list and I'm starting to see it run together with the people.
Life.
I mean, there's nothing else you do but what it says in the book. You just do one resentment at a time, man. You know, I mean, there's different. I'm not going to get into a huge debate on how to do it how I did my 4-step. Okay, as I had said in the book, try. This was my list. I got one paper. I wish I would have handed them all out. We got one sheet. Everybody knows what sheets look like, right? All right. I started with Skip. I put it on there, and I started thinking about this, and then all of a sudden, I got on something else, and I would think about, well, I robbed this dude. I feel really bad. I'm really resentful towards myself for robbing him. But you know what? If that dude wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done that. So what does that happen? Another resentment I had on that guy. So I'd write that name down on another paper. And I'd just go on with that. And about 4 or 5 weeks later, dude, I had like 7 pages on myself and like 5 on my mom. And like it just really, once I sat down and started doing it, and I've done 2 more since, as soon as I literally the second one, I sat down in that office in there and I just was like, everybody's like, you need to do 4-step. I'm like, bro, quit talking to me about that. Okay. I know what I got to do. And that I will never if someone tells me to do it, I will do it now, because I never will ever underestimate the power of sitting down and writing some shit down. Cody, that helps, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
What's up, buddy?
I think what I think he was trying to say is that, so since I did my 4-step and all that, it's like, it's a ripple effect. Because when you start going down the list, you start seeing like, well, I hurt this person when I was with this person, and then I fucked this person over when I was with this person. It's a ripple effect, but I mean, you should always address each one individually.
You should, absolutely. So that's what I was getting at, okay? So I'd made my list and I started going out there, and if I thought of the resentment, and I wrote it down. Okay? Every resentment I could think of, I would write down as soon as it came in, okay? Did I sit there and just go through there and write a list of people off the rip? No. Okay? Not everybody does it. A lot of AA say that's what you got to do. Listen, man, I did it this way, and I'm not going to say that my way's better than yours, but I'm still sober 3 years later from doing it. I've done it 3 more times. You know what I'm saying? So if it works for you that way, however it works, I don't want to get into debate on how to or not do a 4-step, okay? I feel like if you get it on paper and you're processing it the same way, why does it matter? Right? Okay, so I started seeing things, and I went, so listen, the big book tells us that we pray before we go into our 5th step.
Of course.
We pray for those. A lot of people pray during the 5th step. What I'll do is I'll get somebody in there, and we will talk about that person. And then a lot of times those same resentments start popping up. They're just worded differently, right? And so all of a sudden, we got the same resentments over here on this person as we do on this person. So 5th step starts getting a little quicker because you're like, man, you start seeing the truth about yourself. You see where you're the problem. Anybody have that happen to them? And if it didn't take long. I know some people are like, look, I got to do 18 hours worth of 5th step. I'm like, Jesus, but you have a freaking, you know what I mean? Because once I started seeing that the things were going on in Skip and I was the problem, literally, I was the problem in everything, and I could admit that, dude, my 5th step flew by. I mean, I think mine was like 4 hours long. That's a decent 5th step. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people that I've done 5th steps with now, dude, as soon as they start seeing it, dude, we can just rock and roll through them because the main part of the 4th step is what? To see where you are the problem, not where everybody else is. And that's what we're going to get into now, okay? If we do destroy our chance of being helpful, let's go and say that a couple more times in this big book, man. And the reason why it is because ultimately at the end of this, what are we going to do? We're going to put ourselves in maximum service to help other people, right?
Right.
So if I'm always fighting with somebody and always arguing with them, and all of a sudden I see that they're having a problem with some alcohol or drug abuse or whatever, they're probably the last person they want to talk to is me, right? So we don't want to retaliate and fight with people because we might ruin our chance in the future to be able to be a help for that person, okay? We cannot be helpful to all people, but at least God will show us how to take a kind and tolerant view of each and every one. Referring to our list again, putting out of our minds the wrongs of others we had done. So, where's the freaking eraser? We're not going to think about this anymore, right? We've seen we're the problem, right? Yeah. Okay. So it says right here, put the amount of the wrongs others had done, we resolutely looked at our own mistakes. Where had I been selfish, dishonest? I wish I would erase those, self-seeking and frightened. Dang it. Anyway, so really, I mean, the whole thing is this is how I process. You can go super in depth with this, but this is literally how I do it with my guys. They ask, is it selfish of you to lie to yourself to seek ease and comfort, and is it frightening that it can kill you?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we can go real deep with it, or it can be that easy. Is it selfish of me to be mad at CORE for locking me down when they had no idea what was going on? The rest of the United States had to do the same thing. Is it selfish of me to be mad at them?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Is it dishonest of me to think that I know how to run a program?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Is it self-seeking? I just want what I want.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to go outside, right? I want to see people other than the same damn people I see every day, right? But I guess in this case, is it scary that COVID could have killed me?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So I'm gonna go in praying. What was the other one? The X? I mean, I kind of broke this down. It's selfish for me to continue to be mad at her.
Yes.
Right? Because she was just doing the same shit I was doing. Not really like that. Don't you go there. But is it dishonest of me to continue to be mad at her when thinking she was just doing what she thought she needed to do? Right? Is it self-seeking me to continue to be like, look, I'm just going to